Yo, what's going on, guys? It's that time of day again where I do my trade recaps, okay? So today, this is going to be a lighter video. Before market open today, here was what I was eyeing. So this is 8:40 p.m. This was yesterday, by the way. I already went over this. So today, only 2 alerts. And I'm not going to even count the second one because I didn't even enter. But here is what I kind of talked about. So in the morning at 8:40 a.m., I was on the 1 minute chart. So if you look at the 1 minute chart at around 8:40, here's what I was seeing. So I thought this was the what time was this? Yeah, this is the 1 minute. So I thought this was the buy model from here all the way down there and then up there. So I was actually targeting up here to complete the buy model, but we never actually hit it. So what I kind of predicted was we were gonna go right here and then go up there. And by the way, if you guys think there's a right way to draw this buy model, no, there's not. I'm literally just drawing boxes to kind of show the concept of us hitting this buy side liquidity up there. It's going to be really hard to predict where we actually consolidate. And obviously, I initially drew the box up here. A lot of people have been like, oh, do you have to draw them in a certain spot? No, it's just kind of the concept where you kind of look for a pump up, retracement, pump, or consolidation, retracement, then pump up again. So that's kind of what these boxes represent. I thought we were going to consolidate or pull back. We ended up pulling back, then bouncing, and then we could have consolidated, pulled back, and then boom, hit the price target. So it doesn't matter where you draw these boxes, but that was kind of the general concept. And no matter where I draw these boxes, this means I was bullish off open, which I was right about. So open was right here. Let me just draw a quick line. So open was right here, right? 9:30. So I'm going to mark this out so you can see it. And before open, I posted so we saw this, we got jobless claims. I totally forgot about that. So that's kind of why we dumped a little bit. This was actually the 5 minute. We ended up getting jobless claims right. We ended up getting jobless claims, I think, right around here at 8:30. So we pumped up, and then we obviously dumped, and then we retraced into this fair value gap. And what was my alert? So I go setting a limit at 3775. So I was setting my limit right here, okay? And you can see I was not filled, but I posted the fair value gap, and as you guys know, you can enter anywhere in these fair value gaps, okay? So depending on your risk management, you might have got a fill earlier. Obviously, that's up to you and how you guys enter. But anywhere in this fair value gap is valid to enter, and as you can see, you just tapped it, and then your stop loss would be below this order block right there. So this would be your stop loss. Again, I really like using order blocks for stop losses, not really entries, because sometimes they work for entries, sometimes they're not respected at all. So I prefer using this as a stop loss. So I did not get filled. People in my Discord did. I literally added my chat. I was like, please someone tell me they got filled. So a couple people did get filled. Someone made a 20-point move off of it. It was literally the only play they took all day because they've been taking my alerts. So I'm really happy some people got filled off this. And obviously I said risky with opening volatility. And I've alerted these fair value gap plays off open before, and they can be risky. Sometimes the open volatility just will like go down here and then retrace, and it's not perfect. But this was actually a perfect one right at 9:30, which is kind of cool. I said if you're filled, scale 10 points, and obviously I had my target of 3796. Why do I pick my target up there? Well, that's the next swing high. Okay, this is going to be liquidity. This is where you're trying to target. So obviously I have my swing high up there, and that's why I was saying enter here, sell there. But I ended up saying scale right here. Why? Because it's a 5 minute fair value gap, and in these fair value gaps, you just to be safe, if we're wrong and we never hit this target, we were gonna reject here. Okay, so scaling in these the clean fair value gaps is honestly a good scale spot, and this is already 10 points, and you can make a living off of 10 points a day, so that's pretty good. So I said get out all here, leave runners. Obviously my target hit. I never got filled. Some people did. And that's okay because I know for a fact I'm gonna see the same setup a million more times tomorrow, next week. I see this setup all the time at different time frames. So it doesn't really matter to me. I know I'm gonna see this setup again. But again, even though we didn't reject this fair value gap at first, this was a really good scale spot. Let me check the 1 minute. We actually may have rejected that at first. I just want to see what happened. Okay, so here's what happened. On the 1 minute, we ended up rejecting up here, and then we sort of fell below this fair value gap, and then I never learned this, but we landed right in this bullish fair value gap. And this is kind of a situation where you know that this has to hit for the 5 minute setup I learned. So this is the next liquidity. So if you see this fair value gap, that's your sign to get in. Because why? Because we still haven't hit the main target of the main play. So this is kind of a setup within a setup. So this is another possible entry. And although it was not a... Oh, wait. So it just tapped the 50%. So I really like entering a discount for longing. Obviously, this just tapped to 50%. So I'm not even sure I would have gotten filled either. I probably would have set my limit somewhere right here. But again, that's up to your preference. You can, if your risk management allows, you can literally enter anywhere in the fair value gap. And again, if you don't care if you have a stop way down here, if you enter in this fair value gap, if you're very confident, then yeah, you can obviously enter anywhere in the fair value gap. But I just prefer to be more precise, so I like to enter with what I think is the best entry. So that means discount, premium in the fair value gap, and a couple other things. So this was my first scale spot once everyone was in the play, because again, bearish fair value gap literally could have easily rejected there if the bias is wrong and hit the stop loss. So this was the target, and then this was the final target. So that was my playoff open 20-point play, yeah, so we got that. And then 11:12 a.m. So I kind of showed this, but again, this is too fast to learn. And I just want you guys to notice something. Out in the 1 minute today, there's so many fair value gaps being respected. Like, you can see this was sort of respected. That wasn't the most beautiful, so disregard that. This was respected right here, okay? Actually respected twice. Again, I don't take fair value gaps twice. I guarantee you, with 100% certainty, this would have been respected if we went up there, but this one held us down too much. This one was respected right here. So many fair value gaps were respected. Even this one. Look at all these. We never really got a huge retracement off of this one, but you could see all these sell orders in here getting filled from previously. And this one I missed. So the one I was going to alert was this one. It was too fast though. Why? Because we got a market structure shift technically right here. So we broke that, retrace, and then I was going to alert down. I was going to take profit there. So obviously I was too slow to alert that. And this is when I went into a live call. Why did I go to a live call? Because I was seeing so many of these fair value gaps up here. I saw this one being respected. I saw this one. And I just wanted to kind of show how, even though like I had a bullish bias from this morning and we still never hit my target from up here, I kind of wanted to show that you could still scalp these 1 minute fair value gaps if they're clean. Okay, this is not a clean fair value gap. Why? Because this is huge. Where are you going to enter in that zone? You're not just going to gamble and enter anywhere. But like this, see how small and tiny this is? See how precise this is for an entry? Again, this has like this kind of 3 candle setup. So boom, boom, boom. Only the middle candle has a fair value gap. So that's good when there's 3 big candles, but only the middle one has it. So that's a really good setup. And when I was live trading, we are right here, okay? And I don't have any proof of this, but people in my live call know. We are right here. We never even retraced this yet. And like we were right there, and then we pumped up there. I had this fair value gap. I said we would probably reject this at first. We did. And then when we were up here, I said a good long would be right here, okay? And as you can see, if you longed off that, it would have been perfect. And why did I say that would be a good long? Well, I was still bullish from this morning, obviously, which didn't end up working out at the end, but like it still worked out for this play because I was still bullish. But if we draw a fib from this bottom to this top up here, and we go to the optimal trade entry, 0.705, boom, bounce off almost to the cent. So I love taking fair value gaps after they have the break of structures and the bias is bullish. So obviously we had the structure break right there, and this wasn't exactly in optimal trade entry range. And I love taking these fair value gaps because you can get some really nice moves off them. So this was the target if you took that, which we almost top ticked. So I ended up actually missing this entry. Okay, so I was talking and this entry got away from me. So what did I end up doing? I drew this trend line and I literally told everyone in the live call, I was like, guys, when have you ever seen a trend line that market makers create that isn't broken? Like, when have you ever seen a trend line that's formed like this and then we just totally reject it, don't break it? I said that this trend line would probably be broken. Why? Because we had the optimal trade entry for like get bounce and we had liquidity above that we hadn't hit the target yet. So I was right about that. I actually ended up taking a entry right here, the retest in my live trading. But I was kind of making it apparent that it was kind of risky because, again, this is the 1 minute. Usually for trend line traders, they have to wait for confirmation of the 5 minute. But I knew this liquidity would hit. If you know where liquidity is going to hit, then you can get really good entries. Because if you know liquidity is up above, then you know you're going to get like this trend line retest would be a good entry. Why? Because if you're very, very confident we're going to hit this, okay, that's when you look for like great entries. And if you entered right there, your stop loss could have been like a 3-point stop loss because again, we're not on a trend line. If it retest, especially being how perfect this is, it's not going to go much below that. So that was another good play. Again, I missed my fill right there. I bounced off too quickly. I was talking to my people in live trading. So that was something I went over in live trading, and I said this just called 2 10-point scalp plays live. Okay, then I said, so this was, I'm not even counting these alerts. So I said, last alert of the day, take long if 5 minute close over, take short if 5 minute close below. Options, 20% stop, future stop loss if we close back above or below the trend line. So on the 5 minute, we actually had a triangle, and yes, this is not what ICT teaches, but why do I still play it? Because if you know where liquidity is, then you know that we're going to get a nice break on this trend line. And you can even see how perfect it is, okay? So this is about as perfect as it can gets. Even though I only trade ICT, you can, like, I still trade these trend line, like these triangles sometimes because I knew that we had liquidity either up or down. And before we actually broke, I'm going to show you guys what I said. I go, I'm bullish, so I'm guessing we'll break up, but wait for confirmation. And that's the important part. Even though I was bullish, I never went long because we never got confirmation. We never got that 5 minute close over. And yeah, this isn't a general ICT play. This is more of a retail play, but I had a lot of experience playing these in the past. I don't think maybe like one of them out of 50 has failed, especially when it's this perfect. And again, I said my stop loss would be if we close over this line, which we did, which this was the close under, my stop loss would be a 5 minute close back over. And obviously we never actually closed back over, but we did reject this fair value gap. So this was technically an ICT play. And was it in, let's see if it was in premium. So it was not a premium. But again, this is still a fair value gap rejected, and it lined up with the trend line retest. And that ended up giving us like a 15-point move. I did alert the target, so I said, still no break, just waiting. And then I decided not to enter. Why? Because this is something you got to listen to. If I'm expecting this to break up, why would I want to short it if we broke down? You're basically fading yourself. So I did not feel comfortable doing that. I still did not trust it. And I don't even care that I didn't take it. I mean, maybe, yeah, I should have because these triangles work all the time. But I honestly was bullish for this, so I didn't want to kind of fade myself. And if you are immediately feeling kind of uncomfortable and taking a play, I would not just take it because you're just going to stress yourself out. So I said not entering. I'm green for the day because I scalped a couple other moves. The one in chat I scalped. And don't want to be faked out, simple as that. And this is just me being disciplined. I've taken a lot of trades the past few days, some trades I've taken that I haven't alerted that have kind of been sloppy but have worked out. So I'm trying to limit myself to kind of better setups, if you will. And I said, if you were in here targets, I'm not counting this alert, but we're trying to help those who entered. So there was a couple people who entered because, yeah, it's a trend line break and it was clean. So why would you not enter this? But again, I just didn't want to fade myself. I said target one hit from my degenerates. So basically how I base my targets is I just do them the previous swing lows because that's where liquidity is. So that's where the market's going to want to target. And as you can see, both of them ended up hitting. So you would have scaled out right here, and then you would have scaled out right there. And then I said, so obviously I could have entered that or even entered on the retest. But again, I thought we were going to break up. There's something about entering a play and just being stressed and being like, oh, I still think we're bullish, because it kind of puts you in a tough position because it's just going to stress yourself out. And obviously that's not good for your mind when you're trading. And I said, it's all good. You'll see more setups like this in the future, and obviously we will. And another thing I want you to notice is if we go to 15-minute, the 15-minute fair value gap was even cleaner. So I can narrow this down. So this was the 15-minute fair value gap. So that was pretty clean in my opinion. I almost re-entered there, but I just decided not to. I just decided to be done for the day because, again, non-farm payroll tomorrow. I didn't know if it was going to chop into the end of the day or what. And if you noticed the one day, we were in an inside candle all day. So what that means is yesterday's previous high was right there, and yesterday's previous low was right there. And you could see all day we traded inside that. So this seems to be setting up for a move for some nice. There's probably going to be a big move once we break out of that. Again, if we look at the weekly, we're also in a fair value gap right here. So again, my bias was I thought we'd reject this fair value gap first, but I didn't think we were going to reject this fair value gap and go way down here. I kind of just thought we were going to retrace off of it and go up this order block. But kind of what I'm looking for now is on the 4 hour, I really want to go down to this fair value gap, but I don't know if we're going to get it. If we break this low, that is definitely a possibility. But again, it's going to depend on non-farm payroll data tomorrow. So I really want an entry in this fair value gap. I'll go heavy long in there, and then I want to rechase up to about 3.5 or 3.852, which is this fair value gap. And this part was already used, so I'm saying this up there. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, I had a nice play. I didn't want to give any gains back. I had a nice play in the morning, so I didn't take that other trade. But yeah, so far so good. I think I've had one losing alert so far out of 7 or 8. So we'll keep that up. And again, my losing alert was probably minus 3 or 4 points. It wasn't too bad. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, just let me know in trading chat. I'm always available to answer questions. I'm sure someone just asked a question right now, but I'll check that after this video. And without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night, and peace.